pager, or beeper, was the original "you need to call someone right now" device. Before smartphones, texting, or even cheap mobile phones, small devices from companies like Motorola were clipped to belts everywhere. Doctors, technicians, delivery workers, and anyone important enough to be reachable carried one. When someone needed you, the pager would beep loudly and display a phone number. Your job was simple: find the nearest phone and call back. Yes, that meant hunting for a payphone. Kids today would call that a side quest. Pagers became huge in the 1990s because they were cheap, reliable, and had amazing battery life. One tiny battery could last weeks. No apps, no distractions, just a beep and a number. But once mobile phones got smaller, cheaper, and added texting, pagers lost their purpose. Today, they mostly survive in hospitals. Apparently, even smartphones can't beat a device whose entire job is just beep. Walkman put your music in your pocket long before smartphones existed. Sony's portable cassette player in the 1980s and 1990s let you walk, run, or ride the bus while blasting your favorite tunes. It had basic but powerful features for the time: play, pause, fast forward, rewind, and even auto-stop when the tape ended. Some models even had AM/FM radio or recording capabilities. Headphones became essential accessories, making listening personal and stylish. The freedom was addictive. You controlled your soundtrack, your pace, and your world. Teenagers and commuters loved it. But tapes wore out, batteries died, and rewinding was a workout. Then CDs, mini discs, and MP3 players came along, letting you carry more music without tangled tape. By the 2000s, the Walkman era ended. Its legacy lives on in every portable music device, even if nobody untangles cassettes anymore. MP3 player/iPod. P3 players put your entire music collection in your pocket. No tapes, no rewinding, no bulky cases. Devices like the iPod revolutionized listening in the early 2000s. They could store thousands of songs on tiny hard drives or flash memory, had intuitive scroll wheels or touch controls, playlists, shuffle modes, and even built-in games on some models. Suddenly, creating your personal soundtrack was effortless, and you didn't have to carry a backpack full of CDs. The iPod wasn't just about storage, it synced with computers, had sleek designs, and popularized album artwork on tiny screens. People lined up for launches, and 1,000 songs in your pocket became a mantra. Then smartphones arrived, combining MP3 playback with calls, texting, and apps. Suddenly, the standalone music player wasn't needed. DVD players were the ultimate upgrade from VHS: sharper picture, cleaner sound, and no rewinding required. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, DVDs became the standard for home movies. They could store hours of video, bonus features, multiple audio tracks, and subtitles, all on a disc smaller than a CD. Players came with features like scene selection, parental controls, progressive scan, and even Dolby surround sound support. Suddenly, movie nights felt cinematic without leaving your living room. You could now judge a movie by its bonus features, instead of hoping your VHS had them. Families, teens, and film buffs all embraced the format. But then Blu-ray arrived, and streaming services made discs feel like fossils. By the 2000s, DVD players were slowly disappearing. Digital cameras turned photography from a guessing game into instant gratification. In the 2000s, point-and-shoot digital cameras replaced film cameras for most people. No more waiting a week to see if your vacation photos weren't all thumbs or sunsets turned into blurs. Features included zoom lenses, flash, video recording, and tiny LCD screens to preview shots instantly, a luxury film photographers could only dream of. They were perfect for capturing birthdays, vacations, pets doing ridiculous things, or that one friend who always closes their eyes at the worst moment. Memory cards let you take hundreds of photos without wasting a single frame, and deleting mistakes was easier than apologizing to a darkroom technician. Then smartphones got cameras so good they could rival standalone devices, making carrying a separate camera feel unnecessary. But interestingly, digital cameras are kind of making a comeback. Kylie Jenner posting with a retro point-and-shoot has reminded people that sometimes dedicated cameras just have that extra vibe. GPS navigators were the lifesavers before smartphones decided they could do everything. In the 2000s, devices from Garmin, TomTom, and Magellan were glued to car dashboards everywhere. They offered turn-by-turn directions, estimated arrival times, voice guidance, and even points of interest. Basically a personal co-pilot that never argued or asked for snacks. The appeal was huge. No more folding paper maps like origami, no more guessing which exit to take, and no more blaming your intuitive sense of direction. Some models even had traffic updates, lane assistance, and cute voices that cheered or scolded you for missing a turn. Then smartphones came along with Google Maps, Waze, and Apple Maps. Free, constantly updated, and always in your pocket. GPS units weren't bad. They were just redundant. They didn't vanish completely. Some drivers still prefer them for reliability, battery life, or when your phone dies mid-road trip. But for most, GPS navigators became a remember when device. Portable gaming consoles were the pocket-sized magic of the 2000s and early 2010s. Devices like the PlayStation Portable, Nintendo DS, and Game Boy Advance let you play full games anywhere, on the bus, or during family road trips. They had features like dual screens, touchscreen controls, Wi-Fi multiplayer, backward compatibility, and even cameras in some models. Suddenly, gaming wasn't tied to a bulky console in your living room. The charm was undeniable. Physical cartridges, tactile buttons, and the ability to swap games instantly. Multiplayer was often local, forcing friends to huddle over a tiny screen instead of sitting silently with headphones in. Battery life was finite, yes, but the trade-off felt worth it. Then smartphones arrived, packing thousands of games in your pocket with touch controls, Wi-Fi multiplayer, and zero cartridges. Suddenly, portable consoles felt optional. Camcorders were the ultimate way to capture life before smartphones decided they could do it all. In the 1990s and 2000s, mini-DV and VHS-C camcorders let families record birthdays, vacations, school plays, and pets doing ridiculous things. Features included optical zoom, built-in microphones, night mode, image stabilization, and sometimes even tiny LCD screens, so you could see what you were filming. Alarm clock radios were the original wake-up screaming devices, before smartphones stole that job. In the 80s and 90s, these bedside essentials combined a digital or analog clock with a radio and an alarm. Features included snooze buttons, dual alarms, AM/FM tuning, sleep timers, and some even had cassette or CD players. You could wake up to your favorite morning show, a beep, or a mildly terrifying buzzer, all while keeping the time visible at night. They were simple, reliable, and impossible to ignore. Forget setting an alarm on your phone. The alarm clock radio physically demanded attention. Landline phones were the original stay-connected devices long before cell phones and Wi-Fi existed. For decades, homes and offices relied on them. Features included rotary dials, push buttons, caller ID, voicemail, and speakerphones. They were reliable, never ran out of battery, and actually worked during power outages, if you weren't on a cordless model. People could gossip for hours, argue with telemarketers, or hear distant relatives without worrying about dropped calls. VoIP and smartphones made traditional landlines largely optional. That's devices that disappeared, from pagers and Walkmans to camcorders and landlines. Some vanished, some got replaced, and a few are even making comebacks. Which one do you miss the most? Comment down below, like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Tech explained clearly without the boring stuff.